Boom. Guys, it does that sometimes. I don't know why it does that. It just does. Guys, jump on here real quick. One of the few times that I've actually said I was going to be on time, and I was on time. Jump on here real quick, see if we can get this show on the proverbial road. It's election season. A lot's going on. And it's going to take a whole bunch of things to just make sure that we're on the straight and narrow. Just want to make sure that my sound is good. To just make sure that we're on the straight and narrow. There you go. Just want to make sure that my sound is good. And the sound is good. So what I need you to do, guys, if you can, is if you can sling this broadcast to people that you think would be interested in this conversation. I will not keep you long, or as the Brits say, I shan't keep you long. I do have quite a bit of things to do today. I've got a 12 o'clock meeting, and then I have a 13:30 meeting. So I have to push this in here as best as I can. Before I get into that, though, I must make mention, in America, the last couple of weeks have been really rough for the Obamas. First of all, you had that debacle of a UFC fighter. Remember the thing, the White House hosted a UFC fight on the grounds of the White House. They brought out this huge stage, this huge elaborate set for the UFC, and Dana White was there, Donald Trump was there, Mark Zuckerberg was there, all these, sports enthusiasts, UFC enthusiasts. And one of the guys that, I think the main guy that won that tournament, he stood up and he just blurted out and said that Michelle Obama was a man. I mean, we all know Michelle is a woman. And there's always been this narrative that's been peddled by many people that are opposed to the Obamas. They come up with this foolishness and this nonsense. And it plays into their hands because they know that conversations like that deflect attention from the real issues. And this is what I find apprehensive about politics. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. There is an element of deflection that plagues every political society. And it takes a lot of work to sort of sift through that mess and break through the noise of distraction, not destruction, distraction that deflects attention from the real pertinent issues, the real substantive issues. And then they start talking about foolishness like that. Michelle Obama is not a man. But what I love about Michelle and Barack Obama is the grace with which they handle that sort of nonsensical talk. Michelle didn't respond to that nonsense. It was like, of course, I would imagine it would hurt her because it's hurtful when people create stories about you especially that are untrue. It's one thing if something is true. It's a completely different thing if people are just making things up for the sake of making them up. But I love the grace with which Michelle Obama carries herself, the grace with which Barack Obama carries himself. I mean, Donald Trump, not too long ago, on an international platform, referred to Barack Obama as an SOB, son of a. A sitting president uses that type of language about a former president, calling the former president a son of a B. It's unconscionable. It is unconscionable. And Barack, being the statesman that he is, it's just water off a duck's back. When they go low, we go high. That's the philosophy of Michelle Obama and her husband Barack. And a big congratulations to the Obama Foundation for opening up their library, the Obama Presidential Library. We should have that here. Do you know who we could have started having that had President FJT, President Chiluba, years ago? Do you know where's that building? Echo Bank, right next to Acacia Park. You know that area? Echo Bank, the Acacia Park Echo Bank area, near arcades. Do you know that President Chiluba was supposed to build something that he called the FJT Democratic Institute? Do you know this? Some of you don't know this, and this is why these things should be taught in schools. Because if you're not taught this, you're not going to remember it. Okay? There was a time when President Chiluba, before he launched this bid for a third term, because the truth is Zambians don't like that. The Zambian people don't like anybody that talks about third terms. The moment you start spewing third term talk, you lose the electorate. They jump off of your boat faster than you can say molasses. What the Zambian people want at the end of the day, when the dust settles and when the dew dries, Zambians want constitutionalists. That's what we want. We want constitutionalists, people that look at the Constitution as a living, breathing document. And they say, we will do everything within our power to uphold and to protect the Constitution. Well, FJT, before he launched this third term bid, he started building a building that was named the FJT Democratic Institute, and it would have been the first sort of quasi-presidential Zambian library. And we should have that. We should have, former presidents should have libraries named after them. We shouldn't just have tombs for former presidents. In Zambia, we have tombs for former presidents. We shouldn't have that. We should have libraries. We should have edifices built as a memoriam, as homage, as a form of legacy for a former, and indeed at some stage, if you like, late president. Can you imagine, had President Chiluba abandoned this idea of a third term, had President Chiluba focused on life after his 2 terms, had he gone ahead, it was SP Mulenga. Remember SP Mulenga? He still is, but in those days, in the 90s, he served in the Chiluba administration. SP Mulenga is the father of a dear friend of mine, Francis Mulenga. My SP Mulenga and I were very good friends. He was also very good friends with my father. SP Mulenga showed me the drawings. He showed me the beautiful, elaborate drawings of the FJT Institute. There, where EcoBank is, near arcades. President Chiluba's plan was to build this Democratic Institute, like a library, And of course, it was all shelved when this talk of a third term came up, and somehow along the way, that project was abandoned. But moving forward, I want to believe that as Zambians, we should sort of point ourselves in that direction. Former presidents should have libraries. They should have libraries. They should have edifices named after them. And the way that the Obama Presidential Center has been created, the way the Bush administration, they have a library. Bill Clinton they all have libraries. In Zambia, we just have tombs. That has to change. Tell me in the comments what you think about that. What do you think about that? Tell me. All righty. Very quickly, let me just mention something that we've been saying it for a while. It's just that it hits differently when you hear the people themselves that are involved in this massive scandal. When you hear the words come out of their mouths, it sort of hits differently. And let me explain what I'm talking about. For a long time, even from the outside world, people have been perplexed. A friend of mine here on Facebook and TikTok by the name of Stacey B, she's referred to the delay of Lungu's burial as bizarre. It's strange. Why would the burial of a former head of state take so long? And what is the bottleneck? What's the problem? What is the impediment? Where is the roadblock? What's the hurdle? It is now beginning to unfold. What we have been suspecting for a long time has actually been uttered by one of the insiders involved in this plan. For a long time, we've always said that there's a group of people that have designed a situation where the former and late sixth president's body, Edgar Lungu, would be used as a pawn and a campaign tool in order to galvanize sympathy. That has got to be the single most debaucherous thing that's ever been hatched in the hallowed halls of Zambian political history. I've never seen it. I've never smelt anything remotely related to that, where you use a body to campaign. You use the remains to galvanize support for political purposes. That has got to be the single most insensitive thing that I have ever heard of in my entire life. Mwewa is on record now as having said, he was on a television show not too long ago, and he said, talking about his group, Mwewa's group, we are willing to do everything and anything necessary to decampaign, to remove the UPND by any means necessary, including the use of a dead body. Now, to you and I, that is reprehensible. To you and I, that is debaucherous. To you and I, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But in the eyes of the opposition political atmosphere that these guys are creating, to them, they don't see anything wrong with that. The Word of God says, there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of destruction. Ooh, that's deep. That's deeper than the Mariana Trench. That's so deep. Be careful now. I'll ask you for a pulpit. I'll slap a Bible on that thing and I'll throw down. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death and destruction. There is no justifiable reason why ECL's body has not been buried. No justifiable reason at all. More than a year, more than 365 days, his body has not been buried. His remains have not been placed and put to rest. For no other reason but for political expedience. I've seen women that belong to this alliance wearing ECL's chitengas with his face and his visage, all for the purpose of political expedience. My encouragement to the opposition is use the tools that are at your disposal. Use the tools fairly. Don't use dead bodies to campaign. That is bordering on the demonic. That is bordering on the occult. That is bordering on zombieism. And it has no place in real politics. None whatsoever. Uwo. Wulush. It is a form of debauchery that has absolutely no place in real politics. Now, I know, and I'm fine with it, because I know many of you that are supporters of that group, you get very angry when I speak like this. And you shock me when you get that angry. You amaze me when you become so furious. But it's the truth. I ask you that are watching me now, would you allow your father's body to be used as a political pawn for the sake of politics? Would you allow that? I ask you, would you allow your loved one to be paraded in rallies, political rallies, and your loved one used as a footnote in a political speech, knowing full well that your loved one has not been placed and put to rest, knowing full well that his remains have not been deposited in from dust we came and to dust we shall return, knowing full well that the very act of burial is a form of closure. It's a form of healing. It's a type of healing. They know that they would rather keep our people in this uncomfortable angst for political purposes than to put ECL's body to rest. That is how selfish and how insensitive these people are. And regardless of how you feel about that, deep down in your heart, you know that's the truth. Aside from the political component of it, just from a humanitarian point of view, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And if that is the purpose, if you're going into politics with this idea of by any means necessary, even if we use a dead body to achieve our goal of regaining power for the sole purpose of revenge, because let's be clear, there's no other agenda. The only agenda they have is to regain power for the purposes of destroying and killing HH. That is all that they're thinking about. Nothing else. It's got nothing to do with service of country. It's got nothing to do with national interest. It's got nothing to do with putting Zambia first. It's got nothing to do with bettering the Zambian people's lives. It has everything to do with, by any means necessary, we regain power to destroy HH. That's it. That's all you want. But guess what? We see right through you, and the Zambian people are not going to have it. It's true. It's true. The sooner you realize that, the better off you are. One Zambia, one nation. One nation, one people. Salah.